Drake Jackson, he's going to finish the season with 6 or more sacks. Sterling, I think you're starting us off this time. Drake Jackson, 6+ sacks in 2023.
He'll certainly get the opportunity to have 6+ sacks. I don't think he'll get 6+ sacks. I want him to, let's say that, but I'm going to sell. I think that they're going to go draft an edge rusher. He'll be part of the rotation, but my concern is that what we saw last year, there was some really good early, and then all of a sudden he disappeared. His body couldn't keep up. And I think that's my biggest question about him. He has the physical traits you like, and that you would assume someone like him can get you 6+ sacks in the season. I do think he'll get there eventually, but I think it was Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch both said, like, look, he just wasn't ready to endure an 18, 17+ game season. And I do wonder that I know he's been at the facility getting stronger. I do want to see the body hold up, because if you can't play, you ain't getting sacks. I think that's my biggest concern of, has he finally gotten his body right for the NFL and not in college? Because if he has, look out. But if he hasn't, I have to sell.
All right. You got the sell over there from Sterling. Let's take this one over to Johnny. Johnny, come on now. Bring it home. What do you got?
I'm gonna buy just because the rookie wall was a real thing and he hit that hard. But the raw ability is there. He's got the measurables. He has what he needs, and he's going to be the person with the least amount of attention on him. So if you're looking at somebody who has the easiest, or path of least resistance to the quarterback, it's going to be Drake Jackson. They're going to find ways to utilize that to get him on some stunts, to get him on some twists, and ways to get him to the quarterback, much like we saw with Samson Ebukam or Charles Omenihu, or Arden Key before him. I think there's going to be chances for him to get in there and get some sacks and opportunity sacks where Bosa's doubled, Hargrave's doubled, and Armstead's pushed in the pocket, and he's just able to get in there. And I do also the way that Wilkes runs his defense, he runs a lot more blitzes than DeMeco Ryans did, and I think that's going to leave more chances for one-on-ones and more chances for busted protections. And if you're going to bust a protection, you're not going to bust it towards Bosa's side. So again, I see this as partially hoping that he in believing that he will ascend a little bit, and then also looking at the landscape of that his job will be easier this season than it was last season. And so I'm gonna buy. I believe he's gonna get 6+ sacks.
I like it. Let's go, CG. Your turn now. Here we go.
Well, I'm buying into it because year 2, these players break out. So it's one of those opportunities. Like you said, he'll be the least attention guy. So that does leave more snaps for him. And if the Niners were not confident with him from the get-go, they would have not signed those other guys like Colin Farrell and Austin Bryant, because they must be really confident with Drake Jackson's ability. I mean, he hit the rookie wall. But I'm going to go on the limb. I'm going to say he's going to reach the 9.5 sacks or 10 sack type season. I think he's going to break out. I think he's going to get some of those opportunities to create pressure. And he's going to have an easy path to get to the quarterback, because they're going to focus on Bosa. They're going to focus on Hargrave, and Armstead's going to make it very easy for Drake Jackson to have a breakout year. So I'm going to go on a hot take and say he's going to have a 10 sack season.
Hey, that is a hot take. That is a hot one. Now, we were talking about Sam Womack being the guy that wants to break free. Now you're coming in with a guy right here in Drake Jackson. Now, I don't necessarily think you're totally when they hear you say that. I'm right there with you guys, and I think that Drake Jackson is going to get 6 or more sacks this season. Based on a couple of their thoughts, I think that they can get it out of him. That's why they let Samson Ebukam go. Ebukam is about a 4.5 to 5 sack guy here anyway. I think they can get a little bit more out of Drake Jackson. And I think if you look at the way Jackson got his sacks last year, they weren't just beating guys around the edge. Those were more just sticking with the play.
You're muted, Jack. You're still muted, buddy.
You're muted.
Yeah, I know my thing got all messed up. Can you hear me now?
We
Yeah,
can
we
hear you.
gotcha.
All right. So this technology. Anyway, um, I'm going to start over. He's going to get six
Do it.
plus sacks. Greg Jack's a guy who has the speed to be able to get home, but he's also the guy that when you look at his sacks last year, it was mostly off of having to really work. And I think you throw in a guy like Javon Hargrave and what he can do. You also have Nick Bosa on the other side. You're going to have all those other guys creating pressure, which is going to allow him to be the guy that ends up getting home when that quarterback starts to scramble around. I think that's really where he's going to get him. So we're going to say 6+ for Big Drake.